Before the screaming pinch harmonics, the bullseye guitars, and the Viking-like stage presence, there was Jeffrey Philip Wieland, a kid from Bayonne, New Jersey. Born on January 14, 1967, his musical journey began not with a thunderous roar, but with the disciplined study of classical guitar from a young age. This foundational training instilled a deep understanding of music theory and fretboard navigation that would later become the bedrock of his explosive yet surprisingly melodic style. He spent his teenage years honing his craft, playing in local bands like Stonehenge and Xeris, all while working various jobs and dedicating countless hours to his instrument. His dedication was absolute, practicing for up to 12 hours a day, a work ethic that would define his entire career and set him apart from his peers. The pivotal moment in his life arrived in 1987. Ozzy Osbourne was searching for a new guitarist following the departure of Jake E. Lee. Zakk, then just 20 years old, was encouraged by friends to send in a demo tape. The tape contained some original material, a few solos, and his interpretation of some classic Ozzy tracks. Despite feeling it was a long shot, he sent it in. The tape landed in the right hands, and soon, Zakk found himself on a plane to Los Angeles for an audition. He plugged in, played, and completely blew Ozzy away. He wasn't just technically proficient, he had a raw, untamed energy that was exactly what the Prince of Darkness needed to reignite his sound for a new era of heavy metal. His debut with Ozzy on the 1988 album No Rest for the Wicked was a seismic event in the world of rock guitar. It was here that the world was formally introduced to Zakk Wylde. His aggressive, high-gain tone, combined with his lightning-fast pentatonic runs and, most notably, his weaponized use of pinch harmonics, created a sound that was both fresh and ferocious. He brought a blue-collar, bar-brawling attitude to the often pretentious world of shred guitar. This wasn't just about playing fast, it was about playing with an overwhelming sense of power and conviction, a style that would soon make him one of the most recognizable and influential guitarists of his generation, and a true heir to the throne of Ozzy's legendary Axeman. From that point on, Zakk's career skyrocketed. He became Ozzy's co-writer and right-hand man for over 2 decades, contributing to classic albums like No More Tears and Osmosis. But his creative drive couldn't be contained to just one band. He formed his own projects, including the southern rock-infused Pride and Glory, and most famously, the heavy-hitting Black Label Society, which became his primary musical vehicle. Through all these projects, he has maintained his signature sound and uncompromising vision, cementing his status not just as a hired gun, but as a band leader, songwriter, and a true icon of modern heavy metal, inspiring countless guitarists to pick up the instrument and play with passion. When you think of Zakk Wylde's guitar playing, what's the very first sound that comes to your mind? For the vast majority of rock fans, it's that high-pitched, screaming squeal that seems to leap out of the amplifier with pure, unadulterated aggression. This is the pinch harmonic, or as Zakk often calls it, the squealy. While he certainly didn't invent the technique, players like Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top and Eddie Van Halen were using them for years. Zakk Wylde took the pinch harmonic and turned it into a fundamental part of his musical language. He didn't just sprinkle them in for effect, he weaponized them, making them as integral to his riffs and solos as a power chord or a bent note. The reason this technique became so synonymous with his name is the sheer frequency and ferocity with which he employs it. In Zakk's hands, the pinch harmonic isn't a subtle flourish, it's a percussive, violent exclamation point at the end of a musical phrase. He uses it to add a layer of intensity and excitement that few other players can match. Listen to the opening riff of Miracle Man. The riff itself is heavy, but it's the perfectly placed, screaming harmonics that make it iconic and instantly recognizable as Zakk Wylde. This aggressive application transformed the technique from a cool trick into a core component of a new, heavier sound that would define hard rock and metal in the late 80s and beyond. This signature sound was born from a combination of his influences and his desire to create a sonic identity that was entirely his own. He needed a way to stand out in a world filled with incredibly talented guitarists. By mastering and exaggerating the pinch harmonic, he found his voice. It became his calling card, a sonic fingerprint that immediately identified him on any track. The technique perfectly complemented his high-gain Marshall-driven tone and his aggressive picking style. The combination of a Les Paul guitar, hot pickups, a cranked JCM 800 amplifier, and Zakk's powerful right-hand attack created the perfect storm for producing these explosive, cutting squeals on demand. Furthermore, Zakk's use of pinch harmonics is incredibly dynamic and musical. He doesn't just hit the same squeal every time. Depending on where his pick strikes the string between the pickups, he can coax out a wide variety of pitches and overtones, effectively using them as another melodic tool in his arsenal. He can make them cry, scream, or dive bomb, all controlled by the subtle movements of his thumb and pick. This level of control is what separates him from players who just randomly happen upon a harmonic. For Zakk, it's a deliberate, calculated, and powerful form of expression that continues to be the most celebrated aspect of his groundbreaking guitar technique. So what exactly is a pinch harmonic? In musical terms, a harmonic is an overtone, a higher-pitched note that exists within the fundamental note you're playing. A natural harmonic is produced by lightly touching a string at a specific fret, like the 5th, 7th, or 12th, without pressing it down. A pinch harmonic, also known as an artificial harmonic, is different because it can be produced on any fretted note, giving the player far more creative freedom. It's created by a very specific and coordinated action with the picking hand, which simultaneously sounds the note and chokes off its fundamental frequency, allowing a high-pitched overtone to scream through the amplifier with incredible sustain. To execute this technique perfectly requires a unique grip and a precise attack. As you downpick a string, you must allow the fleshy part of your thumb, which is also holding the pick, to graze the string a split second after the pick itself makes contact. This tiny, almost imperceptible pinch is the key. The pick initiates the note's vibration, and your thumb immediately touches the string at a harmonic note, silencing the fundamental tone and isolating that high-pitched squeal. The coordination has to be perfect. Too much thumb, and you'll mute the string entirely. Too little, and you'll just get the regular fretted note. It's a delicate balance of force and finesse. The location of your picking hand is absolutely critical to mastering this technique. The area between your bridge and neck pickups is the sweet spot for producing the loudest and clearest pinch harmonics. Picking closer to the bridge will generally yield higher-pitched harmonics, while picking closer to the neck will produce lower, more guttural ones. Experimenting by moving your picking hand back and forth along this area while attempting the technique is the best way to discover the full range of sounds available. A high-gain amplifier setting and a guitar with powerful humbucking pickups will make this process much easier, as they amplify these sensitive overtones and make them sing. Perfecting the pinch harmonic is all about repetition and muscle memory. It's a feel-based technique that can't be fully understood by reading about it. It has to be practiced until it becomes second nature. Start slowly on a single string like the G or D string, as they tend to be the most responsive. Focus on that subtle thumb graze motion after each pick stroke. Don't get discouraged if all you hear is a muted thud at first. With persistent practice, you'll start to find those sweet spots, and soon, you'll be able to unleash those screaming squeals on command, just like Zakk, adding a powerful tool of expression to your own guitar playing. The shadow of Randy Rhoads looms large over every guitarist who has ever stepped on stage with Ozzy Osbourne, and Zakk Wylde is no exception. Randy was a true revolutionary, a guitarist who seamlessly blended classical music sensibilities with heavy metal aggression, creating a style that was both elegant and brutal. When Zakk took over the coveted guitar spot, he was acutely aware of the legacy he had to uphold. He was a massive fan of Rhoads, having spent countless hours learning his solos and absorbing his musicality. This influence is evident in Zakk's playing, particularly in his use of classical-inspired phrases, his melodic sense, and his precise, aggressive picking. However, when it comes to the specific technique of the pinch harmonic, the direct line of influence is less clear. While Randy Rhoads was a master of many advanced techniques, the aggressive, frequent use of pinch harmonics was not a prominent feature of his style. You can hear him use them sparingly, as an occasional effect, but they were not the foundational element that they would become for Zakk. Randy's signature sound was more defined by his violin-like legato, his unique trills, his masterful use of the whammy bar for subtle vibrato, and his integration of classical scales and arpeggios into a rock context. The squealing harmonic wasn't his primary weapon. Zakk's inspiration for weaponizing the pinch harmonic likely came from a different branch of the rock and roll family tree. Players like Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top were early pioneers, using pinch harmonics to add a greasy, bluesy swagger to their riffs. Eddie Van Halen also used them as part of his vast trick bag, often in conjunction with his dive bombs and tapping. Zakk took this existing technique and amplified it through the lens of 80s heavy metal. He saw the potential for the pinch harmonic to be more than just an effect, He saw it as a rhythmic and percussive tool, a way to inject pure, raw power directly into a riff. So, while Randy Rhoads was undoubtedly Zakk's biggest overall influence as Ozzy's guitarist, shaping his approach to melody, solo construction, and showmanship, the signature squeal was Zakk's own innovation within that role. He honored Randy's legacy not by copying him, but by taking the foundation Randy had built and adding his own unique, aggressive signature to it. In this way, Zakk carved out his own identity, proving he was more than just a replacement. He was a worthy successor who brought his own distinct and powerful voice to the band, ensuring the evolution of Ozzy's sound while paying homage to the master who came before him. When Zakk Wylde joined Ozzy Osbourne's band in 1987, he was stepping into one of the most prestigious and scrutinized roles in all of rock music. He followed in the footsteps of Randy Rhoads and Jake E. Lee, two guitarists who had already redefined the sound of heavy metal. What Ozzy needed was not a clone of his previous players, but a new force of nature who could both honor the past and propel the music into the future. Zakk Wylde was, without a doubt, the perfect man for the job. His raw, unbridled energy and aggressive, no-nonsense playing style were a perfect match for Ozzy's larger-than-life persona and the evolving landscape of late 80s metal. Zakk's musicianship brought a unique combination of technical virtuosity and blue-collar grit. Unlike the more polished, classically infused style of Randy Rhoads or the slick, swaggering sound of Jake E. Lee, Zakk's playing was like a bar fight captured on tape. His heavy, down-tuned riffs, built on a foundation of pentatonic and blues scales, were powerful and direct. This raw power, punctuated by his signature pinch harmonics, gave Ozzy's music a heavier, more modern edge that resonated with the thrash and groove metal scenes that were beginning to emerge. He gave Ozzy's sound a much-needed injection of pure, unfiltered testosterone. Beyond his technical skills, Zakk was also a formidable songwriter. He quickly became Ozzy's primary musical collaborator, co-writing some of the biggest hits of Ozzy's career. He understood that a great metal song needed more than just a fast solo. It needed a monstrous, memorable riff. Zakk was a riff machine, capable of churning out iconic hooks like Miracle Man, No More Tears, and I Don't Want to Change the World. His ability to craft these powerful musical foundations gave Ozzy the perfect platform to lay down his unforgettable vocal melodies, creating a songwriting partnership that was both commercially successful and critically acclaimed. Perhaps most importantly, Zakk Wylde looked and played the part. With his towering frame, flowing blonde hair, and on-stage warrior persona, he was a visual spectacle, a guitar hero in the classic mold. He could stand shoulder to shoulder with the Prince of Darkness and not be overshadowed. His loyalty, incredible work ethic, and shared musical vision made him more than just a hired guitarist. He became a member of the family, a true musical partner for Ozzy for over 2 decades. This combination of raw talent, songwriting prowess, and undeniable stage presence is precisely why Zakk Wylde wasn't just a great guitarist for Ozzy, he was the ideal one. Let's break down some of Zakk's most iconic tracks to see what makes them tick. We'll start with Miracle Man from No Rest for the Wicked. This song is a statement of intent. The guitar is tuned down a half step, which is called E-flat standard, and that's a common practice for a heavier, thicker sound. It's in the key of a minor and blasts off at a blistering tempo of around 196 beats per minute. The main riff is a masterclass in aggression, built around the A minor pentatonic scale but punctuated by those ferocious, perfectly placed pinch harmonics. The solo, also rooted in A minor, is a chaotic explosion of fast, alternate picking, wide vibrato and squealing harmonics, showcasing Zakk's raw energy and establishing his signature sound right out of the gate. Next, we have the iconic ballad Mama, I'm Coming Home from No More Tears. This song demonstrates Zakk's incredible versatility. Played in standard E tuning, the song is in the key of E major, and has a much slower, more deliberate tempo of about 74 BPM. The songwriting here is all about melody and space. Zakk uses a 12-string acoustic for the main arpeggiated riff, creating a beautiful, shimmering texture. The key to this song is its simplicity and emotional weight. The guitar solo is a masterpiece of melodic construction. It's played in the key of E major, primarily using the E major scale, not a minor pentatonic. It's lyrical, memorable, and proves Zakk is just as effective playing with nuance and feeling as he is with brute force. Let's jump to his work with Black Label Society and the song Stillborn from the Blessed Hell Ride. Here, Zakk's sound gets even heavier. The tuning is dropped all the way down to C-sharp standard, which is C-sharp, F-sharp, B, E, G-sharp, C-sharp. and that gives the riff an immense sludgy weight. The song is in the key of G-sharp minor and moves at a mid-tempo chug of around 120 BPM. The main riff is a syncopated, groove-oriented monster that relies on heavy palm muting and of course those signature harmonics. Ozzy Osbourne actually provides guest vocals on this track, bringing things full circle. The solo is pure, unfiltered Zakk Wylde, a flurry of G-sharp minor pentatonic licks, wah pedal abuse and screaming harmonics perfectly embodying the Black Label Society ethos. Finally, we'll look at Losing Your Mind from his southern rock project, Pride and Glory. This track showcases a completely different side of Zakk's playing. The tuning is open G, which is D, G, D, G, B, D, a favorite of blues and southern rock players like Keith Richards. The song is in the key of G major and has a swampy, laid-back groove at approximately 92 BPM. Here, Zakk trades metal shred for chicken pickin', slide guitar, and soulful blues bends. The songwriting is deeply rooted in the sounds of Lynyrd Skynyrd and the Allman Brothers Band. The solo is a brilliant display of his roots, using G major pentatonic and blues scales with a healthy dose of double stops and slide flourishes, proving his musical vocabulary extends far beyond heavy metal. Zakk Wylde's journey from a kid in New Jersey to a global guitar icon is a testament to the power of dedication, passion, and finding your own unique voice. He didn't just fill a role in Ozzy's band, he redefined it. He took the pinch harmonic and turned it into an art form, creating a sonic signature that is instantly recognizable and has been emulated by countless guitarists around the world. His influence extends beyond just his technique. His songwriting with Ozzy produced some of the most enduring anthems in the heavy metal canon, and his work with Black Label Society has inspired a new generation of players to embrace heavy, riff-based rock and roll. His legacy is one of authenticity. In a world of fleeting trends, Zakk has remained unapologetically himself. The bullseye guitars, the leather vests, the Viking persona, it's all part of a complete artistic vision that is backed up by world-class musicianship and an unwavering commitment to his craft. He is a bridge between the classic rock gods of the 70s and the modern metal titans of today. Whether he's playing a blistering metal solo, a heartfelt ballad, or a swampy southern rock groove, you always know it's Zakk Wylde. That kind of distinct identity is the true mark of a legendary artist and a guitar hero for the ages. Analyzing the work of musicians like Zakk is what I love to do. Breaking down the theory, the technique, and the songwriting choices that make these artists great is my passion. It's a way to understand music on a much deeper level, and I hope these insights have helped you appreciate his incredible talent even more. There's a universe of detail in every note, every riff, and every solo, and exploring it reveals the genius behind the music. It's a never-ending journey of discovery, and I'm thrilled to be able to share it with all of you here on this channel. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Zakk Wylde's guitar magic and want to see more content like this, please consider supporting the channel. The best way you can do that is by hitting the like button on this video, and most importantly, subscribing, so you don't miss future episodes. If you want to go a step further, you can support my work through the Patreon link in the description below. Your support allows me to continue creating this content and breaking down what makes these songs and these artists so great. Thank you for watching.